Okay, today's lesson is covering section 2.4 in the book, Polynomial Division. Before we start with polynomial division, we're going to begin with a numerical long division problem. So basically we have 16 is the dividend and 3 is the divisor. We are going to say that 3 goes into 16 5 times, so that's the quotient. And then we're going to say 3 times 5 is 15. And we will subtract 16 from 15, we'll get 1, and that's the remainder. So 5 remainder, 1 is your answer. So you practice on 9,553 divided by 3. So use the long one. So pause it, work it out, then come look at my solution. 9,553 divided by 3. Now I normally write down divide, multiply, subtract, bring it down. And repeat if necessary. Okay, so about basically we are going to say 3 goes into 9 3 times. So 3 times 3 is 9. And then we subtract that, we get 0. So then we bring down the 5. And then 3 goes into 5 one time. So we bring the 3 down. 5 minus 3 is 2. We're going to bring the 5 down to here. So we're going to say 3 goes into 25 8 times. So this might be 3 times 8 is 24. Subtract 25 minus 24 is 1. And we are going to break down the 3. And we are going to say that 3 goes into 13 4 times. So 4 times 3 is 12. And we will subtract 1. So we end up getting a remainder. You could say that's 384 remainder 1, and that would be good to go. All right, pause if you need to. Now we will divide polynomials similarly, but there's a couple rules, so let's go over those. Okay, so polynomial long division. Polynomials must be in descending order. Okay, in other words, their powers decrease. Okay, descending order means the powers decrease. So we go from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 to none. Okay, so those are descending powers. Now, if a power is missing, we must put in a placeholder. In this next example, we have 4x cubed minus 5x to the 4th plus 2x plus 8. We're missing some powers here. First off, they're not in proper order, so let's go ahead and reorganize them. So the thing we need to do first is the negative 5x to the 4th. Then we're going to put 4x cubed next to its positive, but we're missing the 0. We're missing the x squared terms. I'm going to say plus 0 of them. So plus 0x squared, and then plus 2x plus 8. So then this goes 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's it. So just make sure you go for that proper order. Pause if you need to. So for our first example of polynomial division, we have x cubed minus 4x squared plus 2x minus 3. So the top is in descending order, the bottom is in descending order, and no terms are missing. So we need no placeholders. So we will create our divide bar, x cubed minus 4x squared plus 2x minus 3, and on the outside we'll put x plus 2. always begin this by taking the first term on the inside and dividing by the first term on the outside. So that's going to be x to the third over x, and that's going to equal x squared. Now this is very important. We go above the polynomial that's inside, directly above it, and we put x squared on the top of the divide bar. Now, this will multiply, this x squared will multiply times the x plus 2. So whatever you put up at the top will multiply by. So you're going to have to distribute, okay? So basically, we're going to say x squared times x, that's going to be x to the third. We're going to have to subtract the group, and we're going to say x squared times 2 is plus 2x squared. Now when we cross, we're ready to subtract, so that means we're going to change the signs on the inside. So this becomes plus, this becomes minus, and this becomes plus. At this point, the first part goes away, and the second part becomes a negative 6x squared. Okay, so far what have we done? We've done divide, we've done multiply, we've done subtract, and that means we got to bring down. Okay, so we're going to bring down this 2x. We're going to say plus 2x, and we start the whole process. So now we're going to repeat. So you just have that on your paper, and you just keep going. So now we have this 6x squared right here, and we're going to divide it by this x over here. So this will be negative 6x squared divided by x, and that's equal to a negative 6x. So up here it becomes a negative 6x. So once again, I will multiply this now by this over here. So we're going to distribute, so we're going to say minus the group, and we're going to say minus 6x times x is a negative 6x squared. And I'll say minus 6x times a positive 2 is a minus 12x. And then I'm ready to do my subtraction. Then my multiplication, I'm ready to do my subtraction. So I'm going to change this to a positive and change these signs accordingly. So I'm going to add the opposite. This should go away, and that should leave me with 14x. So then I'm going to bring down my minus. Now I'm back to my 14x divided by the x on the outside. 14x divided by x is equal to 14. Now I can say what? Plus 14. And then I'm going to multiply this times what's out in front of the division bar. So 14 times the quantity of x plus 2. So I'm going to get ready to put in my subtraction, my groups. It's going to become 14x. And that's going to become 20. Again, subtraction means to add the opposite, so plus, minus, minus. So this is going to go away. This is going to give me a negative 31. And this is my remainder. Okay, so we need to think about that. What was our quotient? What was our positive? Okay, so now we're ready to write our answer. So the quotient is what's above the division bar. So the quotient is x squared minus 6x plus 14. And then we're going to add the remainder to it. So we'll say plus a negative 31 over the divisor of x plus 2. Okay. Pause it if you need to, but I'm going to put that in a box. That's your solution. Okay, I'm moving on to the next question. So we have a negative 13x squared plus 4x cubed plus 2x minus 7 over 3x plus x squared minus 2. In this particular problem, we got to reorganize it. So I can just do that above. I can say 4x cubed minus 13x squared plus 2x minus 7. That looks good. On the bottom, I can say x squared plus 3x minus 2. And I'm ready to fit everything into my problem. So I'm going to write my divisor bar down. Dividend goes in here, 4x cubed minus 13x squared plus 2x minus 7. And what goes on the outside is x squared plus 3x minus 2. And again, we start with the first term in the divisor bar over the first term outside. First term of the dividend divided by the first term of the divisor. So it's 4x cubed divided by x squared. And it's going to equal 4x. So I'm going to put that above the term next to the first power. So 4x goes right there. And I'm going to multiply the 4x times x squared plus 3x minus 2. So I'm going to put a negative because we have to multiply. Then we have to subtract. Remember, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. Okay. Now, 4x times x squared is 4x to the third. 4x times 3x plus 12x squared. 4x times a negative 2 is negative 8x. At this point, I'm going to distribute my negative. So plus, minus, minus, plus. And I will combine like terms, so this will go away. And that will give me a negative 25x squared. And that will give me a positive 10x. And then I'll bring down my negative 7. Now at this point, I'm ready to go again. So again, the first term here divided by this x squared. So that's going to be negative 25x squared over x squared is equal to negative 25 up here, and I'm going to distribute that through the trinomial that's to the left of the division bar, or the divisor. So I'm going to say negative 25 times x squared, that's a negative 25x squared. Say negative 25 times a positive 3x is a negative 75x. I'll say a negative 25 times a negative 2 is a positive 50. Close there. On my line. And I will add the opposite. So subtract means to add the opposite. So it's going to be a positive 25x, a positive 75x, and a negative 50. So this will go away, and this will give me, what is that, 85x. And that's going to give me a negative 57. So I'm ready to write my answer. So my solution is going to be 4x minus 25 plus 85x minus 57 over my divisor. So that's going to be x squared plus 3x minus 2. So it's always of the form quotient plus remainder over divisor. You can pause the screen if you want. I'm going to. So the next problem has 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus 5. 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus 0x plus 5. If you rewrite it at the beginning, you should not make a mistake. Underneath it goes x squared plus 0x minus 1. These are placeholders, very important in division that every column is taken care of. Every place column is taken care of. So now we're ready to fill out our division product. So it's going to be 3x to the third minus 2x squared plus 0x plus 5. On the outside, it's going to be x squared plus 0x minus 1. So now, we need to again take the first term of the dividend and divide it by the first term of the divisor. So this would be 3x cubed over x squared, and that's going to equal 3x. So 3x is going to pull up the 0x. See, again, that's why you need a placeholder. Everything has its place. And remember, you're doing divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, daddy, mother, sister, brother, repeat. Now, we're going to distribute, so we put our negative group, so 3x gets multiplied by the trinomial or divisor on the outside, so 3x times x squared is 3x to the third. 3x times 0x is going to be plus 0x squared, and then 3x times a negative 1 is a negative 3x. So now we're ready to do what? Add the opposite. So we're going to say plus a negative. Now this is 0, so we subtract or add, it's irrelevant, and we're going to add the 3x. So the first term should always cancel. This becomes a negative 2x squared plus 3x, bring down, plus 5. First term here, and again the first term here. So that's going to be a negative 2x squared divided by x squared. That's equal to a negative 2. So I'm going to put a minus 2 up here, distribute a minus 2. So a negative 2 times x squared is a negative 2x squared. A negative 2 times 0x is just a negative 0x. And a negative 2 times negative 1 is a positive 2. So we'll apply. Add the opposite. So plus, 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 minus. So this first part should go away. That should give us 3x, and that should give us plus 3. So now we check our answer. We write it in quotient plus remainder over divisor 1. So now 3x minus 2 is my quotient plus 3x plus 3 is my remainder over my divisor x squared minus 1. I no longer need to place it. Okay, so here's example 4. Again, you're going to want to rewrite these before you even begin. When you look at this, you see a 4x to the 4th. I'm sorry, you need to pause it and work it out yourself and then check my result. Okay, I have the problem worked out. I did not do what was in red as far as adding the opposite. Hopefully you see that by now. This is a little cleaner. I don't want to make the video too long. Just pause it, go over your answer, think about what happened, and I'm going to the next row. That way it cuts the video time down. So here they give you a word from the area of the floor is represented by the polynomial, and they give you the width, and they want to know what the length is. So if area is equal to length times width, then area divided by width should equal the length, right? And in this case, the area is equal to x cubed minus 3x squared plus 10x, and the width is x minus 1. So in this case, you probably want to just say plus a 0 here, end up with a constant. That's what I would do. I have x cubed minus 3x squared plus 10x plus 0, and I have x minus 5 over here. So again, pause it, work it out. Okay, you can see that I've completed my division, and I ended up with x squared plus 2x plus 20. The remainder was 100, so my quotient was x squared plus 2x plus 20 plus 100 over x minus 5. Pause if you need to. I'm moving to the next problem. So obviously, long division is tedious and time consuming, and we only do it when necessary. If we can divide by a linear factor, that means this is x to the 1 minus k. Okay, so that has to be to the first power. So if this is a linear factor, then I can perform what's called synthetic division. Okay, so my divisor has to be a linear factor. This is my divisor. Okay, so basically, I set x minus k equal to 0, and I solve for x and use that as my divisor. So this is a factor. Basically, x minus k is a factor. I want to divide by a 0. Or a solution, right? I want to divide by a solution. So basically, everything here has a coefficient. Okay, so the coefficient is 1x cubed minus 4x squared plus 2x minus 3. So I'm going to make sort of like a big upside down division bar. And I'm going to put a remainder line where this looks like a big old 4. I want to take these coefficients 1, negative 4, and 2, and then the last one's going to go past the remainder line. Now, x plus 2 set equal to 0. X plus 2 is my factor. I need my 0, so that means x is equal to a negative 2, right? So that means negative 2 goes out here. So it's always opposite what's in this final factor. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring down the 1. So we're going to put the 1 down here. Now, I'm going to multiply the 1 times the negative 2. So the 1 gets multiplied by the outside negative 2. So 1 times negative 2 is a negative 2. So that goes in here. And then the negative 2 plus the negative 4 right above it make a negative 6. Then I go back to the outside. So I'm doing multiplication. Then I'm doing addition. Now I'm getting ready to do multiplication again. All right. So a negative 6 times a negative 2 is a positive 12. I'm going to do addition. Look at there. I just spelled mama, right? Multiply, add, multiply, add. So you multiply, add until you finish. So this gives me 14. Now 14 times a negative 2 is a negative 28. So that was a multiply, right? And then I'm going to add. That gives me a negative 3. So at this point, I can quickly write my quotient and my remainder over my divisor. So this is my x squared term, this is my x term, and this is my constant, and this is my remainder. Now we divided 1x out of this, so this should be 1 power less. So the problem started out as an x cubed, so my quotient should be x squared. So x squared minus 6x plus 14 plus a negative 31 over x plus 2. Pause that if you need to. Now we are unpaused. I'm going back at the very first example where we performed long division on the same problem, and we end up with the same result. X squared minus 16x plus 14 plus a negative 31 over x plus 2. So look at all the work we did for example 1. Let's go back to example 6. And look at the work we did for example 6. And we got the same result. Pause if you need to. So this next example, we make sure that no powers are missing. If there's power missing, we put a 0 in. So this is 1x cubed, this is 1x squared minus 5 plus 3. Okay, so it's very important we understand that when we make our upside down division bar, we have our remainder line. It's going to be a 1, a negative 5, and then the 3 goes outside. Now, x minus 2 is equal to 0, therefore x is equal to 2. Since 2 is my 0, 2 goes on the outside. So I'm going to bring down my 1 and multiply by the outside. 1 times 2 is 2. I'm going to add to my inside. 1 plus 2 is 3. I'm going to multiply to my outside. 3 times 2 is 6. I'm going to add on my inside. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 times 2 on the outside is 2. And it gives me a remainder of 5. Okay, now remember, this went from a power of 3. We're taking away 1 power of x, so this should be a power of 2. This should be a power of x, and this should be your constant. So you're ready to write your solution. Your solution should be x squared plus 3x plus 1 plus 5 over x minus 2, which was your advice. If you need to, I'm going to next. Example 8. Look at example 8. We probably need to rewrite the top. I see 2x cubed plus 0x squared minus 5x minus 12. And on the bottom I see x minus 3 is equal to 0. Therefore x is equal to 3. That's how all my numbers are. I'm ready to rock and roll. Why don't you pause it, see if you get it right. Continue working. 2, 0, negative 5, 12, and 3 on the outside. Bring down the 2, multiply by the 3, that makes 6. 6 plus 0 is 6. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 minus 5 is 13. 3 times 13 is 39. 39 minus 12 is 27. So remember, this is going to be the x squared term, this is going to be the x term, this is going to be a constant, this is going to be a remainder if I didn't say so last time. So that should be 2x squared plus 6x plus 13 plus 27 over x minus 3. Pause if you need to. Go on to the next one. 9, you can see that we have a 4, 3, a 2, 1, and none. So then we have, so we can see the bottom should be x equals negative 4. So we are ready to go. So we have 3, negative 5, 6, negative 7, 9. We have a negative 1 on the outside. You can pause it again. Try it on the 3, 12, negative 17. So we give us negative 17. That's going to give us 68. 68. 6 is going to give us 74. 74 times negative 4 is a negative 296. A negative 296 minus 7 is a negative 303. Times a negative 4 is 1212. And then add that together to give you 1221. So your answer can get a little crazy, but this should go down to x cubed, this should go to x squared, this should go to x, this should go to constant, this should go to remainder. say 3x cubed minus 17x squared plus 74x minus 3 over 3 plus 1221 over x plus 3. Follow technique, keep on doing it. And on the top, it should be x cubed, that should be plus 0x squared minus 19x minus 30. And the bottom should be x is equal to 5. And your upside down division bar, put a remainder line in it. That gives you 1, 0, negative 19, negative 30. And the 5 goes out here, carry out 1, that gives you 5. 5, that gives you 25, that makes it 6, that makes it 30, that makes it 0. Very important. So this is squared, this is x, and this is c, and this is remainder. So we have x squared plus 5x plus 6 is your quotient, and you don't need to write your remainder. So this meant that x minus 5 is a factor of x cubed minus 19x minus 30. And there ends the lesson.